Let me briefly introduce myself. I'm going to serve as the MC tonight. My name is Jeff Steiner. I'm a board member of the Toronto Global Forum. I'm the president of Angel Investors Ontario. And today's topic is very important to me because years ago when I had hair, I served as the CEO of the Toronto Economic Development Corporation, which was involved in investment promotion locally. And we have an incredible investment promotion agency in Canada. It's relatively new. We're here today to meet and to learn more about Invest in Canada as an agency. And then afterwards, and after the chatter will come later, to enjoy a reception. But to start off, and we should have a drum roll, to start off the session, let me call upon the CEO of the International Economic Forum of the Americas, the dynamic young lawyer who is also the convener of the Toronto Global Forum. Please welcome Nicolas Rémillard.
Thank you, Jeff. I really like the dynamic aspect. It's very nice. So thank you, Jeff. Welcome everybody to this reception hosted by Invest Canada. It's very special for me tonight to be in front of you. I quite miss you all. It's been a fascinating year and a half. So here we are back again. To be very simple, Invest Canada is a partner of the International Economic Forum of the Americas. It's a main partner at the Toronto Global Forum. It's one of our main partners at the Conférence de Paris. But it's also one of my best tool of business development that I have. I was 2 weeks ago in Paris with one of my colleagues, Cedric Muller, and we had a meeting with different French corporations. So they showed a lot of interest to invest in Canada, and we thought it would be original, saying, "Hey, we got good access at Invest Canada. We know Nathalie Béchamp and Noémie, and the right people." And the answer was, we're already speaking with them. So it illustrates you the strength of Invest Canada and how much Invest Canada is an important tool of economic development for Canada, an important tool of economic recovery, or I'm not sure I would say recovery, but economic strength for Canada. So it's truly an honor and a privilege being here tonight, being associated with such a powerful brand. We will have an amazing conversation tonight, moderated by Katie with Mitch and Peggy. Katie, I'm pretty sure you will only ask easy questions. Only easy one. So, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Et belle soirée. Et Jeff, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Nicolas. A round of applause for Nicolas and the Toronto Global Forum. The Invest in Canada is a relatively new investment promotion agency, and it's already making a difference. I've seen it myself. Incredible relationships with Japan, China, Indian investors, of course. Also the traditional US, European, German, etc., to name just a few. Now today, right here in this room, in one place, at their first in-person event for Invest in Canada since the outbreak of the pandemic, we have the top leadership of Invest in Canada. It's well represented here today up on stage. Now, allow me to make just a few brief introductions so you know who is before you. Mitch Garber, member of the Order of Canada, well-deserved, I think, and Mitch is the first chair of Invest in Canada, the inaugural chair of the board. He's an entrepreneur, a tech investor himself, especially in the sectors with great success in entertainment, gaming, and fashion, and most of all, philanthropy. He joins us here today on stage from Montreal. Peggy Van der Plas, she is also a board member to your right, I believe. She's also a board member. She's a finance professional by trade, highly experienced also in the tech sector. Now, Peggy is the founding managing partner of Roar, which is a VC firm that specializes and focuses on fintech and AI. And she contributes as well to numerous not-for-profits, and to the ecosystem, lots of the industry associations helping to move the whole tech ecosystem forward. Now, to lead a conversation here on stage is the leader of Invest in Canada, Katie Curran. Now, Katie, she actually began with Invest in Canada as the Chief Administrative Officer, really since day one, and was instrumental in building up the whole organization from scratch. But this May, Ian MacKay, who was the first CEO, he was snatched by the Government of Canada and forced to be Ambassador to Japan in the month of May. And so we're very lucky that Katie has agreed to be the interim CEO and to continue to lead Invest in Canada's efforts to promote, facilitate, and accelerate investment into Canada. So let's turn the session over to you, Katie, and please enjoy, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Good evening and bonsoir à toutes et tous. J'espère que vous allez bien. It's been a really long 18 months, and I'm so excited to be in this room and be here with you this evening. C'est formidable d'être ici avec vous ce soir en personne. I'd like to start with just a little bit of an introduction about Invest in Canada, because I really want to make it known what the services that we can offer and the accomplishments that we've done over the past few years. So for those of you who don't know us, we are the first national investment promotion agency in Canada. And our mission is simple. It's to promote, facilitate, and accelerate investment into our country. So our team works with partners. We work to provide customized services to global investors that are looking to grow and expand in Canada, and many of whom are here with us this evening. I'd like to thank some of our partners, the Trade Commissioner's Service, Toronto Global, Invest Ontario, for their fantastic work and their continued collaboration. I'd also like to thank the Toronto Global Forum for hosting this event and allowing us to join you today. At IIC, we find the best to invest, and we are here to help build sustainable and prosperous communities across our country. Before we get into the armchair discussion, though, I do have to talk a little bit about foreign investment. So global investors want to put their money in places where they see a good return, and they can make growth in their operations, and they continue to thrive. And increasingly, they're looking to Canada for that investment, not only to put their money, but also set up roots in our communities. So thanks to our vast territory and our abundant resources, combined with our pro-social values and our really highly skilled workforce, Canada has become the go-to place for destination for investment. So why does this matter? Why do we care in Canada about foreign investment? Well, foreign investment not only leverages economic development, but it spurs innovation and creates highly skilled, well-paying jobs for Canadians across the country. We all know the pandemic was a challenging year, both globally and at home. But Canada fared much better than many of its G7 counterparts in terms of attracting investment. For our last full year in 2020, we saw 545 foreign investments into Canada. That represents $32 billion in investment coming into our country and the potential to create 32,000 jobs. But this year, it gets even better. In the first 6 months of 2021, we've already hit those same numbers. So we're expected to grow and exceed those numbers for the remaining half of the year. And FDI is projected to increase up to 20% for 2022. So Canada is poised to capitalize on its leadership in some key industries. Industries like advanced manufacturing, forestry, agriculture, and energy. So let's move on to our armchair discussion now. We are very fortunate at Invest in Canada to have some really incredible board members, many of whom are in the audience as well tonight and up on stage with me here. So we have Mitch and Peggy joining us on stage. Thank you both for joining us. Let's get right into our first question. You are both successful in your own right. What attracted you to Invest in Canada? Maybe we'll start with Peggy.
Okay, thank you. I hope you're hearing me well. So Thank you so much first for the invitation and merci pour votre accueil aujourd'hui. I know it's been a long day, a beautiful day, and we really appreciate to have you with us tonight. So many things, attracted me to invest in Canada. I'm sure vous pouvez entendre à mon accent, whether I speak in English or in French, that I'm an immigrant. So, for me, it was definitely something important to give back to my country of adoption, and Canada has been very good to me. And you mentioned, Katie and Jeff mentioned earlier, my background is in finance and especially investing. So obviously there was a good match. Creating wealth, creating great jobs, coast to coast, is something that is appealing not only for me but everyone on the board. Something we're discussing, at every board. Every job you're creating, you're changing a life. So that's very, very important to us. And I really like the opportunity to work with foreign companies. Again, for me, attracting foreigners to Canada is music to my ear. I heard a few French accents tonight. There was an article this morning on the Globe and Mail on the French taking over Montreal, visibly. So, I think it's very important to have this bridge between the countries, whether they're in Europe, they're in Asia, in South America, and our friends in the US, and attract them to the country. And we're going to discuss a bit later why it's good for us to do that.
Ouais, merci, Katie. Je veux juste mentionner qu'on est tous bilingues ici, puis qu'on valorise la langue française. I think that, I can speak for all the board members, and Michelle McKenzie and George Addy and Mark Cohan are here, and Peggy and myself. We obviously love the country. That's what's in it for us, is that you get to sell something that you really believe in and that you love, and it's not for profit. Mm-hmm. It's an honor to be able to sell it. And then when you meet companies, I met the people from Cummins and Hydrogenics 5 minutes ago, or from BASF, or from whatever company it may be, and you get to talk about something that you really know well, and find out what it is that attracted them to Canada, and then find out what it is that we can do to help them grow in Canada. So while we're a marketing agency to attract foreign investments, we're also a concierge agency to help current investors in Canada grow their businesses in Canada. Do they need help with immigration? Do they need help with educational institutions? Do they need help with partnerships with existing Canadian companies or foreign companies that have subsidiaries in Canada? So as someone who considers themselves somewhat of a deal maker, there's nothing better than to be able to make a deal, on behalf of your country, with the backing of your country, with that maple leaf flag behind you. So that's, I would say that's what attracted me.
Absolutely. And we're so fortunate to have board members that are so passionate. You're proud Canadians, and it really demonstrates.
I think what's important as well is our global mindset.
Yes.
We're all really global in our approach, so it's, I think, easier for us to speak with foreign partners and have this conversation.
Absolutely. We really gained from this inaugural board to have your expertise on it, and we really value and appreciate that. Maintenant, la deuxième question. Pourquoi les Canadiens devraient-ils vouloir que les entreprises mondiales investissent au Canada?
Okay, so I'll start in English, maybe just to restate the question. So the question is on why it's so important for Canadians to support FDI, and what would they see in that. So, we mentioned earlier, creating wealth, creating jobs, and we mentioned 30,000 new jobs. We mentioned 32 billion. These are obviously great numbers. These are statistics as well. But when you really think what it means an individual, a family, a community, the supply chain, obviously, the opportunity to change life. And I think that's very important. Sometimes we tend to forget when we look at big numbers that these are people, actually. And when you allow them to find a great job, to get more skilled because they're learning new skills in a new role, that change their life. And, what's better than contributing to, self-actualization, happiness, and doing that in large numbers.
You must see this in your work, too, with Roar, though, that the startups and the ecosystem, when there's a massive investment, you can see the spillover into those startups. and they can help with supply chain, and they can help with different aspects of the business. So I'm sure you must see that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think there's so many aspects to it. If you on the one hand, there's innovation, right? So in Canada, we want to lead in hydrogen, we want to lead in EV, we want to lead in ag, but at the same time, you can't walk down any street. You shouldn't be able to walk down any street in Canada and not see a local subsidiary of a foreign company, whether it's Starbucks and McDonald's, or whether it's a BASF or Roche. If you took, the percentage of GDP in Canada and of employment, that employment income that's generated by foreign subsidiaries in Canada, I don't think we could survive as a country without foreign investment. So, on the one hand, it's a key driver of the economy. On the other hand, we want to be ahead of the curve, because in order to generate foreign investment, it's competitive. There are very few companies that just come to Canada and don't consider going elsewhere. So if you want a beachhead in North America, you're looking in the United States, 50 states, you're looking in Canada and maybe Mexico. And so we need to be competitive, which is why, I'm so proud to be part of Invest in Canada. And I'm especially proud, just to say one more thing, because I didn't say this when you asked the first question, that the government was very sort of ungovernmental in how it created and let us build Invest in Canada, with executives and a board of business-minded people who work independently of the government, who have their own offices and their own infrastructure in order to be able to be nimble and flexible and operate as if we were actually running a business. And we hope that the foreign investors in the room today can recognize that that's what we want to be. We want to be business partners, not just a government agency, that acts governmentally.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we do that very well, and I hope we can continue to provide that service and that support. So, in my opinion, the best question of the evening, and something that we focus on for a lot at Invest in Canada, is what competitive edge do you think Canada has and over its counterparts, over its competitors, and how do you think we capitalize on it? Mitch, do you want to?
Yeah, obviously we're very biased as Canadians, but that having been said, if I really took away my subjectivity, I think it would be very difficult for people to argue that there is a better country. There may be countries as good, that there's a better quality of life, that there's a safer, more civilized, more fair society with a more stable government, with a more stable banking system, with a more open immigration policy, with a more diverse population and educational system. So I think that, when you're considering a foreign investment, you also consider moving families to Canada. You also consider all of the things that go into it. It's not a monetary investment. And so if you're looking and comparing apples and oranges, and I made I made a lot of comments about sort of the disarray politically in the United States in the 4 years of the Trump administration. And the reason why I did that was not just to point out the sort of disarray and the difficulty in foreign immigration and many other aspects, but to actually highlight the stability of Canada. And so, I think that when a CEO or a board is discussing a major investment in a foreign country, they have to take into consideration the livelihood and the lives of the people that they're going to be sending here, and the stability of the economy that they're going to be investing in over the long term. Because when you invest 100 million or 500 million, it's a 25-year investment. And so you got to be sure that the place you're putting that money into is going to be here and be stable and grow with you over the next 25 years. So that's where I think that's where I think Canada has a massive advantage.
And, I won't repeat what Mitch just said, which are obviously all great points. A few additional advantages that we have here. The first one, that is not replicable: resources. The land, the water, the minerals. Canada is the only country that can build an EV battery from start to finish. And that's something that cannot be replicated anywhere in the world. Maybe you can replicate some immigration policies, maybe you can imitate some of our fiscal policies, but that you cannot imitate. Our technology ecosystem, you mentioned that earlier, obviously the innovation, we spoke about the great talent that is highly educated. All of that creates the opportunities to, for companies when they come, they need to be hiring the right staff. So you need all of that. You need the supply chain. You need that. If you look at the global clean tech list, Canada is only second to the US. In the number of clean tech companies, and that is testament to our expertise and our resources, and that is impossible to replicate.
Absolutely. So what is your vision for Canada in the next decade? What do you think we need to do to get there?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think we need to keep doing what we're doing, which is punching above our weight. Mm-hmm. It's something that we talk about internally, is this mantra of punching above our weight. I mean, we're only 37, 38 million people. Our neighbor is, 300 million. And still we punch way above our weight. And how do we do it? I think first of all, by being attractive, number one. But second of all, when AI wasn't a thing, mm-hmm. we were growing AI. When ag wasn't a thing, we were growing ag. Mm-hmm. When EV wasn't a thing, we were growing EV. Yeah. So I think figuring out what the next play is and playing to the strengths that Peggy's talking about, which is the resources that we have. There are certain things that we can't do. Yeah. So let's focus on the things that we can do. We could be, in new energy, we should be hydrogen leaders, EV leaders. We should be ESG leaders in the world and AI leaders in the world. And in those things where we're not ultra competitive, we could let somebody else dominate those spaces, because the future is in all the things that we've been talking about today.
I will, second that wholeheartedly, picking our lane, understanding who we are and who we are not, and playing to our strength. I think that's the only way for us to be even more successful. And, the sustainability angle, the ESG you mentioned just a second ago, Mitch, is really something that it's check all the boxes, I would say, with the social value of Canadian, but also our resources, our technology, and our innovation. So I think everything we can do in the space, EV, hydrogen, you are talking ag, the plant protein, all these things are definitely the future, and you want to be ahead. You want to ride the biggest wave, and that's what we're very good at doing.
I think we could also, lead in pharma, mm-hmm. vaccines, mm-hmm. And on the ESG side, not only on the energy side, but the fact that on my right is a woman CEO, and on my left is a very important board member, and Michelle McKenzie. We walk the walk. So we're just not a group of just elderly white men. We are a group that understands the future, and the future is in diversity. The future, I think the future is women. We just had a mayoral election in Montreal and the surrounding areas last night, and it was an incredible night for women. Women won many of the mayoral races in and around Quebec, and it should be a great source of pride for all of us.
Well, thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Peggy. I think your insights, and we'll continue the discussion, of course, in the reception portion. But I do think it's evident that there are numerous benefits of foreign investment. They're definitely a source of good and highly skilled jobs for Canadians, and it allows Canadian businesses to grow and to innovate while making sure that we can compete in global markets. So I'll end on that note, but of course, conversation continues at our reception, and the team is really looking forward to meeting all of you tonight as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Thank you very much for enlightening us and for sponsoring this very important event, the first day of the Toronto Global Forum. As Katie has mentioned, we have the cocktail networking reception. All of them are staying to have a drink with you and have a conversation. But we also have additional members of the board of directors of Invest in Canada here. Mark Cohen, if you can wave your hand. Michelle McKenzie, if you can wave your hand. And George Hattie, you have a bow tie, if I'm not mistaken. Wave your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Thank you for participating. Enjoy the rest of the reception.